We're going to begin lying down on our back with the pads of our feet together. If your knees are out wide, if you have any pillows or support by you that prop the knees up, that might feel nice for you. And just start to watch your natural breath this morning. Without any restriction, just watch it flow. Noticing how your body feels this morning. Maybe there's a slight sleepiness to it. Maybe a heaviness from your night of rest. Maybe your mind is quite still. Drink that in, absorb all of that. Allow the sleepy tiredness from your night to stay with you for a few more moments. And slowly start to draw in some more breath. Start to increase your inhales and your exhale. Just watch this breath and notice as you deepen and increase your breath, there's a little bit more energy. The energy starts to rise. Maybe your mind isn't so still this morning. Maybe it's already whirring with ideas of breakfast, of the day ahead. Can we allow this breath to slow us down, to bring us to a homeostasis, a place of slight energy but of calmness? Sending the breath into the lower belly. Maybe you want to bring in a count of 4. 4 inhales, 4 exhales. Sending that breath into our lower belly, filling up our lungs. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And each morning is the chance for a brand new day, a clean page. So we can leave behind anything that maybe didn't go the way we planned yesterday. Maybe the slightly grey weather maybe left us feeling a little bit lack of motivation or a little bit frustrated at a few things. We leave any of that behind and start afresh. So just taking a moment to think through your day and think through the perfect version of today, the perfect version of a realistic day. How, if your day goes exactly like you want it to, how would that look today? What would you give yourself a chance to do? Maybe what you'll be eating, or people you'll be speaking to, projects that you might finish, smiles that are shared. Then just allow those thoughts to pass on by. Allow yourself to come back to the present moment, to here. We can come back to that perfect day a little bit later. And taking the biggest breath we've taken all day, filling the lungs. Open the mouth, exhale out. Releasing a sigh. Maybe taking 2 more. Releasing the fogginess of your sleep in this breath. And then bringing your knees up towards your chest and giving yourself a big squeeze. Wrapping the arms around your legs. Maybe even bringing your chin in towards your knees. Really give yourself a nice big squeeze. Maybe this is the first hug you've had all day or all week. And then we're going to reach your hands and your arms up towards the ceiling, up towards the sky. We're going to come into a pose that may feel a little bit silly called dead bug. And we're just going to shake our arms, shake our legs, shake anything out. Really wiggle here. Make it as big or as small as you like. 3 more breaths. And then hugging back in. Noticing any tingling, any sensations of heat or warmth. Rocking from side to side, massaging your spine, your lower back. And then slowly start to take rock and rolls up and down your mat. So maybe your legs come behind your thighs. You can take these as small as you wish. Just slowly starting to build some momentum. You rock up and down our spine. And maybe this gets a little bit bigger until we roll over onto all fours. Setting yourself up in your tabletop position. Shoulders are over your wrists, hips are over your knees. Pit of your belly is in and up, so pelvis is lifted, tailbone is down. Shoulders are away from your ears. Spreading your fingers out wide as if you're going to draw around them. And feel the stability of this pose. And then just start to take some movement that feels right for you. Maybe that's circles, figures of 8, maybe sending the hips back over your heels. Without really thinking about it, allow your body to take you where it needs to. Maybe if you have a little furry friend, notice what they do first thing in the morning. What movements do they instinctively take when they first wake up? The downward facing dog is named that for a reason. You'll see dogs and cats stretching in this way. Despite our very modern lifestyle, styles of movement are so good for us first thing in the morning. It's animalistic need to move our body. Connecting it with your breath. Taking 3 more breaths here. And then when your third breath is finished, coming back to your tabletop position. And then reaching the hands out in front of you, walking them forward, coming into our melting heart. So hips stay above your knees, melt your chest, your heart to the floor. Resting on your forehead or your cheek. And you'll feel this opening along the back of the neck into the spine, in between the shoulder blades. So can you send your breath here? Send your breath into this really juicy heart opener. Maybe you'll feel this in the armpits, the arms. Maybe you want to come up onto the fingertips, see if that creates some more space in your back, in your armpits and your chest. 3 more breaths here. And then when your third breath is finished, coming back up to your tabletop position. Spreading those fingers out wide, pressing into your knees, scooping up the belly. And then if your breath is in your practice, start to ignite this breath. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. And if it's new to you and you want to try, imagine that you're fogging up a piece of glass in front of your mouth. Rather than breathing out through your mouth, breathing out through your nose. You'll feel this same constriction, this throaty feeling, this ocean-sounding breath that comes through. Maybe you want to play with this throughout the practice. Or maybe we're just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Curling your toes under, lifting the knees just an inch off the floor, engaging the core. Belly is scooped, pressing into the palms of the hands, into the fingertips. Your next exhale, sending the hips back, downward facing dog. Letting out a sigh, a bubble of the lips. Maybe we start by walking out our legs, bending one leg and straightening another. Taking the sleepiness out of your legs, out of your calves. And waking up your feet as well. Then find a place of stillness, of setting up that perfect downward facing dog. A Goldilocks position of just right. Fingers are spread out wide. Balls of your feet are planting down. Spine is long. And allow the head just to rest towards the mat. Your next inhale, rolling forward to a plank position, shoulders coming over your wrists. Belly is scooped. Engaging the core. And then pressing our bum back over our heels, hovering off the mat. Exhale to come back to our downward facing dog, lifting your hips up to the sky. Inhale, we wave forward into our plank position. Press our hips over our heels. Exhale to send the hips back up. Coming through this wave motion. So option here, wherever I give the option for a vinyasa, is to come through this wave. Maybe you want to play with this and take it the other way from your downward facing dog, bending your knees, and then coming through to plank. Pressing up to downward facing dog. Noticing how that feels in your body. Option to come down to knees if that feels better for you. And allow the breath to lead this movement. The body to follow. Taking 3 more rounds of breath. In stillness or in your waves. And when those 3 breaths are finished, we'll meet in our plank position. And we'll bring the right leg just an inch off the floor, hovering that right foot. And then we'll bring it to tap out to the side, so tapping the foot and bring it back in. Tapping out to the side, bring the leg back in. Feeling the obliques working here. One more time. Bring the leg back in. See if you can keep that right leg hovered as you press back to a 3-legged dog. Bending the right knee. Imagine you're trying to kick your left butt cheek with your right heel, opening up the right hand side of the body. The chest is spiraling towards the earth still, so just opening from the hip. Then releasing that right leg, optional wave or vinyasa here, flowing through to plank, knees coming down, insides of your elbows coming towards the front as you come down into your chaturanga. Press up to your low cobra, shoulders are away from your ears, pressing back, maybe to a child's pose and then to a downward facing dog. Find your breath. Inhale, we roll forward to our plank position, lifting our left foot an inch off the mat, hovering here, engaging the core, pressing into the hands, and then coming into our side taps. Keeping the belly in, activating the whole core. One more tap, and then coming back to hover, can we press all the way back to our three-legged dog? Bending the left knee, kicking the butt cheek with the left heel. Feel a really nice juicy opening in the left hip, the left side of the body. And then exhale to bring the left leg down, optional wave or vinyasa, or coming to a child's pose. Allow the breath to lead and the body to follow in whatever movement you take today. Then pressing back to your downward facing dog. Taking your gaze in between your hands, step your right foot forward, your left foot forward. Bending your knees, come into a forward fold, taking hold of opposite elbows, ragdoll. Now the crown of the head to move towards the earth. And allow the upper body to be soft. Maybe rocking from side to side. Folding over into this softness. And imagine just like a rag doll that you've just been dropped from the top half. So you're completely folding over. There's no weight being held. There's no one to hold you up. And then releasing the hands to the floor, pressing into all four corners of the feet with a soft bend in the knee, rolling all the way up to standing. Chin in towards the chest. The head being the last thing to come up. And then arms reaching up towards the sky, looking up towards your fingertips. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, we lift the arms all the way up towards the sky, reaching up. On your exhale, drop your arms as if you're being dropped like a rag doll. Allow them to swing alongside your body. Inhale to reach the arms up, lifting as if you're being held by strings. Exhale, you're being dropped and your hands are falling. One more time, lifting the arms up. Exhale as we fold forward. Imagine you're like a real life Pinocchio. Inhale to lift the arms up. Exhale, taking a swan dive forward, coming into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Hands come to shins. Pit of your belly is engaged. Exhale to plant the hands down, stepping back to your plank position, optional vinyasa or wave, or coming straight to a downward facing dog. Ujjayi breath, strong and steady. And then lifting the left leg up towards the sky, bending the knee and drawing one big circle with the knee. And then looking forward, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand, dropping the right knee to the floor, coming into our lizard pose. So option to come up onto hands or fingertips, lifting the chest. And then just noticing how much space you have here. Maybe coming down onto the palms or coming down onto one forearm. So feeling this in the front of the right hip, but also in the left groin. And then option here is to come into a bit of a play. So tucking the right toes under, lifting the right knee. We can stay here. We can come into a twisted bind of a lizard. So bringing the left hand underneath the left calf. So it's in between the calf and the thigh. Wrapping that leg around you. So the back of the left fingertips are just grazing the bottom. And then maybe we press into the feet, lifting the right hand up, and see if we can clasp those hands behind us. Chest is lifted. Maybe there's a little wobble. Wherever you are, smile. And the edges of your mouth turn up. 3 more breaths here. And then planting the hands around that left foot. Lifting all the way up to a crescent lunge. Right heel is lifted. Pelvis is tucked. Finding your breath. Exhale, coming into your cactus arms. Arms are at your 90-degree angle. Chest is open. And then reaching your arms to the back of the room so your chest is spiraling out forward. Inhale, breathing into this extra lung space. Exhale, rounding, bringing the arms around yourself, coming into a hug. Inhale, opening the chest. Exhale to round. Just like we do in our cat-cow. Creating this small undulations and movement of the spine. Noticing if you're still engaging the legs. And then bring your hands to heart center. Looking to the front of your mat and start to exchange your weight onto that front left foot as we press into our warrior 3. Right heel is flexed and strong, standing on the back of the wall. Arms reaching towards the back of the room as well, coming into our airplane. Palms are facing towards the floor, that open chest feeling that we had just a moment ago. Inhale, can we lift that right leg a little bit higher? Exhale, standing all the way up, hugging that right knee in. And then slowly transitioning to a tree pose. Can we do this without even helping the leg? So bringing the pad of the right foot to the inside thigh or calf, making sure it's not over the knee, helping it if we need to. Woo. And then pressing down into all 4 corners of your feet. Spine is long. Imagine we have that string pulling us up. Core is engaged. Hip lights from the hips are shining forward. And if we want an extra challenge here, You play with closing the eyes. Notice that without the sight, how it brings an extra challenge. And if we fall out or are wobbling, come to a kindness to yourself. And then bring the knee back up. We press back into our warrior three. Slowly come down to our crescent lunge. Exhale, framing the left foot and flowing through a vinyasa or a wave or straight to a downward facing dog. If you're in your vinyasa, option to come up to an upward dog. Pressing into the tops of the feet, knees are lifted, glutes are squeezing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking 3 breaths here, grounding yourself back into your body. Inhale, we lift the right leg into the sky, 3-legged dog, bending the right knee, and then draw that big circle with the right knee, opening up the right hip. And then looking forward, step the right foot to the outside of the right hand, lizard pose, right hand side. Left knee comes down to the mat. On fingertips or palms, lifting the chest to begin with. And then start to explore. Knowing that this might feel different from one side to the other, and from day to day, the pose will change in your body. Notice where there's tightness. Also notice where it feels nice, what feels good in this pose. If you're coming with me in the bind, curling the back toes under, lifting the left knee. Right hand comes in between the calf and the thigh, wrapping around the back of the body. Pressing into the feet, lifting the left hand up off the mat. Maybe we find a bind behind our back. Opening up our left shoulder. Active back foot, active back leg. Breath is strong. 3 more breaths. When your third breath is finished, framing that right foot, maybe bringing it in slightly more to center line. Inhale, we rise up to our crescent lunge. Sinking in with our exhale. Heel of the left foot is high to the sky. Pelvis is tucked, tailbone pressing down. Inhale, we lift the shoulders up towards the sky. Exhale, sinking back. Arms coming to cactus. An option here is to take a slightly more flowy variation than we did before. Maybe the whole spine, the whole back comes into the flows. Maybe closing the eyes here. And just noticing how it feels to move in this free way. Without any specific endpoint or any goal we're trying to achieve. Just a bit of free movement. 3 more breaths here. I always feel a bit like Phoebe and Friends when I do this, when she does her exotic dancing. And then bring the hands to heart center, looking to the front of the mat and start to transfer your weight onto that right leg. Come into warrior 3. Back foot is flexed. Chest is lifted, fingertips fly towards the back of the room, airplane mode. Crown of the head reaching towards the front of the room. Shoulders are away from your ears. 1 more breath, lift that leg a little higher. And then exhale, bring the left knee all the way up towards the body. Maybe hugging it in for a moment, and then coming into our tree pose, left-hand side. Maybe we do this without even helping. Hands coming back to heart center. Feeling your breath underneath your thumbs as they ground into your collarbones. Maybe a little bit more heat in the body than when we first started. Option here is to bring the arms up towards the sky. Come into a full expression. Imagine yourself like the branches of a tree. And maybe we play with closing the eyes, or even just one eye. And slowly we'll transfer back to our warrior three. And then slowly as we can, how slow can we make that motion back into our crescent lunge? Exhale to frame the right foot, stepping back and flowing through a vinyasa or a wave or straight to our downward facing dog. Taking your time. Meeting in downward facing dog or a child's pose if that's what you want right now, if that's what you need. Shaking the head like yes, no. Releasing any tension in the neck. Looking forward, step the left foot in between the hands. Swivel the right heel down, rise up into warrior two. Right, left knee is over the left ankle. Hips are facing towards the right hand side of the room. Looking over that left front fingertip. Inhale, reaching the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, sinking them back down. Legs are engaged, eyes feel like they're holding on to a ball. Inhale to reach the hands forward, flipping the front palm. Exhale to reverse your warrior, guiding with your fingertips, looking up towards your left top hand. Right hand can come to the back leg or can wrap around your lower back. Noticing if your legs are still engaged, still active here. Inhale, taking us back to our warrior two, clasping our hands behind our back. Inhale, we lift the chest. Exhale to slowly coming into our humble warrior. Chest is leading here. Chest towards the mat. And then finally our head, the crown of our head can come towards the mat. Hands are lifting up and over the head. Palms of the hands are closed together, allowing that opening in the chest, that pull in the shoulders. Shoulder blades are spiraling inwards. Shoulders are away from ears, pulling away from your head. Inhale, lifting back up to our warrior two. And then straightening that front left leg. Lifting up, being pulled up like a strong puppet. And then inhale to reach forward with the left hand and hinge open, coming into our triangle pose. Left hand comes to the inside of the left calf. Right hand reaching up towards the sky. Opening the chest here. Right shoulder blade grounding towards the left hand side of the room. Legs active, pressing into the ground to lift up a little higher. Inhale, the body comes all the way back up. Both feet face right-hand side of the room. Hands come to the hips. Inhale to lift up. Slight bend in the knees. Exhale to forward fold. Hinging from the hips, crown of the head comes towards earth. Hands can come to the mat, or they can traipse in between your legs and reach towards the back, towards the left-hand side of the room. If a headstand or any kind of inversion is in your practice, feel free to have a play here if it feels comfortable. Letting the body, the tissues of the upper back melt in. Three more breaths here. And when your third breath is finished, pressing into the feet, slowly rolling the spine up, vertebra by vertebra. Head is the last thing to come up, rolling the shoulders when you get there. Exhale, coming back through your warrior two. Then framing that left front foot and flowing through your vinyasa, or flowing through your wave, or straight to downward facing dog. Inhale for low cobra. Exhale to child's pose. All meet in child's pose. Take a breath here. Forehead resting on the mat. Maybe rolling it from side to side. Strong breath. Just connecting back to how our body feels, the heat in our body. Your next exhale, curling the toes under, lifting the hips up towards the sky. Downward facing dog. Really bending the knees here, and then straightening them back out, lifting the hips up high. Notice how much space the tissues of the back legs have opened up while we've been flowing in this morning. And then looking forward, step the right foot in between the hands, warrior two, right hand side. Taking your time to set up your warrior two. Right foot facing forward, left foot facing the side of the room. Engaging the inner thighs. Arms are reaching out long, looking over that front right fingertip. Shoulder blades gliding down the spine. Inhale, we reach forward, flip the front palm, reverse that warrior, reaching that right hand up and over, reaching towards the back of the room as if we're reaching for our favorite snack. Maybe the left hand wraps around the lower back, or the left hand comes to the back leg. Keeping that engagement in the front leg, bending maybe a little deeper. Chest is spiraling to the front of the room. And then inhale, coming back to our warrior two. Clasping your hands behind your back, maybe the awkward way. It feels as if you're holding hands with someone the wrong way. Inhale, we lift the chest. Exhale to come into our humble warrior, leading with the chest. So the chest is coming to the inside of the right knee. Maybe the right shoulder comes to the inside of the right knee. And then we allow the head to rest, to drop. And the hands reaching back, hands pressing away from your head. Back leg is engaged. Inhale, lifting all the way back up to our warrior two. Straightening the front right leg. Pressing our hips towards the back. Reaching our right arm forward. And then hinging open into our triangle. Right hand comes to the inside of right calf. Left hand reaching up towards the sky. And you want this pulling, opening sensation, so the chest and heart is opening up. There's a length in both side bodies. So really feel this engagement in your core, allowing you to lift up higher. Often in a studio you get given a prop here, but you notice then that you're not really engaging here. You're allowing the weight to be taken by the prop. So lifting up. 3 more breaths here. Gaze coming up to that top middle finger, or looking down if that feels more comfortable for the neck. Next inhale, rising up. Right toes come to the side. Hands can come to the hips, or they can clasp behind the back. Inhale to lift the chest. Toes are slightly facing inwards. Slight bend in the knees. Exhale to fold forward. Allowing the hands, the clasped hands, to sink deeper over your head as the exhales flow through. In the same way that we took our waves earlier with our spine, can we imagine the waves of our breath flowing in and out? Creating the sound of the ocean with our breath. And pressing into the feet, releasing the arms, rolling all the way back up to standing. Head being the last thing that comes up. Rolling the shoulders. And then sinking into your warrior two. Spiraling your hands to frame the right foot. Flowing through a vinyasa or a wave, or coming straight to your downward facing dog. When you've found your downward facing dog, take your gaze to the front of your mat. Have a soft bend in your knees and crawl your feet up towards your hands. So that the feet come outside of your hands. Toes are turned out diagonally, and then sink the hips down, coming into a yogi squat. Spine is lifted, that string of the puppet being lifted up. Hands come to heart center. Elbows pressing to the inside of thighs. Allow this engagement between the elbows and the thighs to create more lift. And the corners of your mouth are turning up for this Thursday morning. For this perfect day that you're soon to start. Even if that perfect day involves spreadsheets and many chats. And then bring your hands down to the floor, slowly curling up, coming into your forward fold, toes facing forward, soft bend in the knee as we lift the ball of the left foot up and slide the left hand under, coming into our gorilla pose. Then sliding the right hand under the right foot. Maybe the toes come to the creases of the wrists. Bending your knees as much as you need to. And then allow the head to fall forward. So we can stay here, or if you're feeling a little playful, there's the option to try and walk here in this pose. So slowly, with control, taking small movements, maybe backwards and forwards. It's a bit of a silly shape, but it's quite fun. Let's do something very different. And then taking a moment of stillness, allowing the chest to fold over the thighs. Then releasing the hands one at a time. Inhale, coming into a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back to your plank position and pressing back to downward facing dog. Your inhale, lifting the right leg up towards the sky, bending the knee, opening the hip. And then looking forward, transitioning into your half pigeon right hand side. Allowing the right knee to come by the right hand, right wrist. And then allowing the toes of the back foot just to shimmy back a little bit further. Lifting the chest and folding over as far as feels comfortable. If this doesn't feel comfortable on your knee or your hip, another option is to come into this on your back with your right ankle over your left thigh. Bring that left thigh in. You'll get that same engagement around your right glute and your right thigh. And allow yourself to soften into this space. Allow the strong breath of Ujjayi to soften just a little. Notice if this pose is especially challenging for you, where feels nice in this pose. We take our attention to what feels good. Notice if you're holding on to any tension in your face and your facial muscles. You soften the jaw, brow. The hips can be very tight areas, lots of fascia, lots of connective tissue around this area. So we have to, well, it's nice to hold for a little longer just to open all of this up, the layers and layers of tissue. If you're on your back, just bring your knees into a hug. If you're in your half pigeon, slightly come up, bring the chest up, and then bring your left leg around. We're going to come into a twist. So maybe the left foot comes over the right thigh. Option here is to straighten that right leg if necessary. Inhale, we reach the arms up towards the sky, and then twisting over towards the left-hand side. Left hand comes behind you, right outer arm comes to the outside of the left thigh, twisting over. If you're on your back, then you can bring your knees over to the right-hand side, coming into a simple twist. Arms reaching out in a T-shape. Inhale, we lift the spine up if we're in the spinal twist that I'm in. Exhale to twist open, coming from the middle spine, from the thoracic spine. And allow the hands just to be a guide, rather than the hands pressing you around. Allow the twist to come from the back. And then slowly releasing, curling over, Just coming into a small rebound, bending over to the right hand side. Inhale, we lift up. Bring your knees in, maybe rocking slowly, then twisting over, coming back to your downward facing dog. Hips are up high. Left leg reaches up towards the sky, bending the left knee, and then looking forward, transition into pigeon, left hand side. Left knee comes by left wrist, shin plants down. Shimmying that right leg back just a little further. Inhale to lift the chest. And then exhale, folding and exploring, patting around. You go to the variation that your body is asking today, rather than rushing to a pose that you've been to before. That might not serve your body today. You just take a moment to notice if one side is very different to another. Just observing with a sense of kindness, a sense of interest. And if you took the other variation on one side, maybe taking that variation, or maybe trying a half pigeon. As one side can be very different to another, often we have to do different variations on different sides. One is not better than the other. Wherever you are, taking your attention to any tension you're holding in your face and your shoulders. And you allow your next exhale to soften. Releasing this tension, allowing softness and gentleness to this pose, even if you find it challenging. Now we've been here for a little bit of time, maybe you're noticing that the body is opened up a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit more space to come further forward. And then inhale, we'll lift the chest, slightly rolling onto the left outer butt cheek as we bring the right leg around into that twist. Left foot comes to the outside of the left thigh. Maybe the left leg is straightening out. Both sitting bones are grounding down. Inhale to lift the arms up, long spine. Exhale, twisting over to the right hand side, planting the right hand behind us. Left hand to the outside of the right thigh. Inhale, lifts the spine. Exhale, sees us twist further over to the right. And maybe just take a moment to slightly loosen the hands. Notice if the hands are bringing the twist or the body is. One more inhale here. And then exhale, come into the rebound, curling over to the left-hand side, rounding the back. Inhale to lift all the way back up. Uncurl the legs. And just slowly rocking and rolling up and down the mat, massaging the spine. And then coming to lie down on the back. Going to come through into happy baby, but if there's another pose that you'd rather take, maybe a shoulder stand or an inversion, then come into that. Otherwise, we're going to come to grab the big toes with our peace fingers. And the knees are coming in towards the elbows. If it's more comfortable, maybe you take the outside of the feet with the palms. Or taking the back of the thighs with the hands. And the whole spine is grounding down into the mat. Maybe rocking from side to side. Imagine the playfulness and the fun of a child in this pose. And then releasing the legs, come to bring the pads of the feet together, knees are out wide, into our reclined butterfly. Hands are on your lower belly. The gaze is softening. Coming back to where we first started. We release any restriction that we have on the breath here. Notice any tension that we're holding in the brow. Just taking a moment to take a scan of the body. How is it feeling after your practice? Where feels juicy and warm? Wherever you notice some tightness. Before we close, I'm just going to read one of my favorite poems that I felt was quite important this time. It's called Kindness. All that matters is kindness. It sounds obvious, but it's true. Think of all the bad things in the world, and then think of you. Think of all the troubles you faced, and then think of all the kind faces that have pulled you through. It's them that reminded you of your power. And on the days that you've got little purpose, remember, as humans, it's as basic as showering others with kindness, compassion, lashings of love, regardless of race, sex, location, and material stuff. It's the kindness that is the good stuff. The option to stay here or to reach your legs out long, coming into your final resting pose, Shavasana. Arms reaching up towards the sky. Just a warm glow filling your whole body. And I'll just leave you here for one moment before bringing you back out again. Start to bring that energizing breath. Start to bring your attention to sending your breath into the lower body, the lower belly, I should say. Maybe a wiggle to the fingers, to the toes. You reach reaching your arms out wide, waking up for the first time, maybe rolling the wrists or the ankles, and then hugging yourself, wrapping the arms around yourself, bringing your chin to your chest, rounding in this place of comfort and warmth. Then taking the time to roll over to one side, maybe supporting your head with your hand. And in your own time, coming to a seated position. See if you can keep your eyes closed. Bring your hands to heart center. Feeling the warmth, maybe the beating of your heart underneath your thumbs. And to bow your head towards your hands. Head, heart, chest. See if we can bring an element of that kindness to our day, to that perfect day that we've already imagined. Namaste.